DC has worn me down. I don't want to be overwhelmingly negative about the DCU, especially because I was so excited about the Batman v Superman teaser trailer. So, I have a new outlook starting right now because again, I just can't take it anymore. So instead, I'm going to embrace these movies the way that they're made and just try to wrap my head around what the intention is of the filmmaker. And you know what? Clearly, Suicide Squad is a David Ayer film first and a DC movie second. I don't know if you saw the article in The Hollywood Reporter yesterday. I covered extensively in today's episode of Morning Movie News, but it was confirmed by behind-the-scenes sources that David Ayer has been given carte blanche over the Suicide Squad film to do whatever he wants. And it just is dripping with his influences and what interests him as a filmmaker. So, okay, fine. Let's just try and go with it. And of course, today we're talking about the first shots of Will Smith's Deadshot, obviously in his civilian getup on the set of Suicide Squad. And while I am, of course, initially taken aback by what I'm looking at, I do have to say there are some interesting elements at play here and some things to be legitimately positive about. So let's try it. Let's try to embrace the Suicide Squad, because I don't think it's turning around. I think this is what we're getting. So with Man of Steel, I eventually came to respect what that film tried to accomplish, so I'm going to try and do the same here. Okay. All right, let's get started. We have two photos here. One is a single shot of Will Smith shopping, and he's got his swagger. We'll go into the costume in just a moment, but I guess overall we should touch on the young girl that he's with in the other photo. They're shopping together, and I'm glad, you know what, as little respect as David Ayer has for the depiction of these characters visually in the comics, I'm glad that they're representing Deadshot's history in the comics. And the character does have a daughter. It's like the one point of his humanity. She's very important to him, and she's often, unfortunately, used as leverage against him, sometimes by Amanda Waller, and also, though, sometimes as motivation for him to make sure he lives to see another day because he wants to be with her. And he in the comics, often shields her from what he actually does. Although he's big pimpin' in these photos, so his daughter, I think, would be like, I know you're some kind of criminal because you dress like one. Although maybe he's just like, I don't know, he's also could be like a Kanye West type character as well. So who knows? Who knows? And interestingly, there are Kanye West influences here, so I wonder if he'll have that kind of bravado and self-confidence. More on that in a moment. But I do like having the daughter here. I do like that they're shopping, having a nice family moment. Maybe he's about to be, forcefully drafted into the Suicide Squad. And I have to say, I like the snow. I really associate snow with Gotham. Some of the best Batman or Batman universe stories take place during the holidays. Although Suicide Squad is an August release, so it's going to be weird to have snow in the film. If it's, so often Hollywood sometimes will have Christmas elements in a summer release. For instance, Batman Returns. And it's a little odd if they're going to do that kind of, maybe this is a flashback sequence. Maybe that's what it is. But it does remind me of some of the best Batman stories or Gotham-centric stories, which is cool. And I think this largely takes place in the Batman area of characters. Even though it's supposed to be the DCU as a whole, there's so many Batman villains here. It features Arkham Asylum. I think that makes sense. So I like the nod to the character's history and the potential depth that this promises to the character. Whew, that wasn't so hard, see? See, I paid Deadshot a compliment. I paid Will Smith's Deadshot a compliment. All right, now let's focus on his look. Again, a little Kanye West, very fashion forward. The boots in particular, or the sneakers. So I guess he's very on trend. I'll give that to Deadshot. And Will Smith clearly is putting his own stamp on this character, and it's also very David Ayer-y, just like the Joker is. I mean, this is so similar to all of David Ayer's films in the past. He's obviously fascinated by gang culture, and not the mob. So often, the mob, like films like The Godfather and Goodfellas, has been what's influenced the Batman stories. I mean, just look at what Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale did with their Batman stories, like The Long Halloween, etc. Very mob-centric, and actually directly referenced The Godfather. So I guess that's what's difficult for me. I can't believe it. There you go. That's what the big difference is. We're going from a mob depiction of Batman and his rogues gallery to a gang warfare situation. And that's kind of what's the current on trend in terms of crime these days. You know, you saw a little bit in True Detective explored, etc. So I guess that does make sense, and I can get behind that. Oh, see the positiveness that comes from being open-minded. I'm enjoying this. I'm feeling better about Suicide Squad already. All right, next up, there's something actually pretty good here. Now, he's wearing two symbols. One, obviously, is a cross. So it's interesting to have unless it's a fashion statement, but that would seem sloppy to me as in terms of filmmaking, unless that was a commentary in and of itself. But, so maybe religion will be interesting to see how that factors into Deadshot's persona. But what I think is very interesting is the symbol on his belt buckle. Now, I can't tell for sure what it is, obviously, because we have to have that revealed in the movie. And you know what? Maybe it's just a fashion statement, but it seems a little bit too obvious to me. So I looked up online triangle and eye, because that's kind of what's going on there in the belt. You can see it better in the photo with his daughter. And that actually is something called the eye of Providence. And it's supposed to be the all-knowing eye that sees everything. And that's an excellent choice for Deadshot because he sees everything. You never know when he's going to get you with his sniper rifle, right? He's the all-seeing assassin. So I think that's pretty interesting. And I have to give the character credit for, you know, again, not just being a thug with a sniper rifle, but adding a little mythology to it, a little bit of the status of a legend. I like that. So, again, I like it. I'm coming around to Suicide Squad. I'm going to be positive here on out. This is my new thing because I don't want to hate the DCU. I don't want everything to be like Marvel. And even though I have like zero faith in the way they're running the DCU, I'm going to try. You know what? Warner Brothers made the decision, as I discussed in my coverage of that article from The Hollywood Reporter, to have a creative-based DCU, where the filmmakers get to make the choices themselves in their respective movies, with very little meddling from Warner Brothers and some central figure like Kevin Feige over at Marvel. If they want to do that, fine. We'll see if this stuff can piece together, but right now I'm just going to try and enjoy these movies individually. So that's my epiphany. So thank you, Will Smith, for allowing me to get there. And David Ayer, let's see what you've got. I'm stepping aside. I'm going to let you do your thing. And so I hope that you deliver. But I'm seeing some potential here finally. All right, and it's not as on the nose as the Joker stuff, right? I mean, he doesn't have like a belt buckle with bullets on it, right? Or a gun. I mean, that would be too obvious. There's a little more subtlety here. Although, wouldn't that be weird if Deadshot were cooler than the Joker? That would be straight out of Will Smith's playbook, though, where he's like, as we all know, I have to be the coolest character in the movie. So what do you think? Write your thoughts down below. I'm excited to continue our conversation in the comments section, and you can check out some other episodes right now.